Good day, everybody. It's the Hermit Modeler coming back at you with another video on dioramas here. We're looking at a garage that I built some time back here. And this is the type of diorama that I usually do. And we're going to not focus on that a whole lot because we're going to be coming to that in a future video that I'll be covering this here. But I'm showing you this because most of the dioramas I do are what I guess you'd really consider them a room box. But they're basically a building scenery type thing. But what we're going to be discussing today is a little bit differently here. This is scenery diorama. Now, this is what I'll be getting into when I get into the junkyard. And I kind of want to show you this a little bit right now, so that when we do get into the junkyard, you can kind of tell what I'm talking about here. So this is a diorama that I call Flood Victim. It's based on, let me see if I can get close enough to this without this thing telling me I'm too close. Okay, so this is just a styrofoam base that you can get up the hobby shop here. And then I've painted the sides of it black. That's all I've done to the base of it here. It is just simply that it's spray painted black. Okay, and you can see there's the corners of it there. Pardon me with my stick in the way. All right. And then on top of that, we have just Woodland Scenics, different things from Woodland Scenics, ground foam, trees and such like that, bushes and stuff like that. I'm trying to do this without shaking you up too awful much. It's hard to do this with one hand and move this thing around with the other. The car is a 1960 Ford from AMT, and I have heavily weathered that. This is to depict, can I hold this in a position where you can see? It wants to focus on the close, and I'm still getting used to this phone. So sorry about this, people. Okay, so anyway, this car is depicting a scene of a vehicle right close to it, like a river or a creek that floods out every year, maybe even several times a year. And it's showing the damage that is done to that car over that period of time and how the earth is reclaiming it. And we're going to kind of bring this around because I'm going to start you out at the back of the car here. Okay, the chrome trim here is nothing more than just a dull coat sprayed over the chrome trim. That's all it is, just to dull that chrome out a little bit there. The body, the paint of it, I started out with Rust-Oleum spray paint, just rust spray paint. That's all it is from Rust-Oleum. And then I brush painted. Yes, me with the brush on a body of a car. That's right. I brush painted all the different elements of the weathering of the paint and such in that. And actually, I even went beyond brush paint. A lot of that I did with my fingers on that to get the effects that I wanted here. I have where the body meets the chrome. You can see where there's a line right there. That's where water over the period of time would, just drip down onto that. There are holes that I've done in the body there. Those were done with the motor tool, several different bits on the motor tool coming in from behind on the body to give the rust holes there. You don't want to do from the front because you're going to get a whole bunch of weird and exotic things happening when you're using those tools where they kind of bounce around a little bit. But this gives a much more realistic weathering to it here. I want to bring this around before we get into another thing that I've done with the chrome. I want to bring this around because I want to say one thing. You really have to know your subject too. 60 Fords had a very bad way of rusting out right behind the turn signal lens there. If they were going to rust out, that's the first place they would start rusting there. Another place is right back there behind the wheel well. There's water collected in both those places really bad and would rust out. That's the first places they would start to rust out. So you really need to know your subject before you get into this. Now we're going to talk about the chrome trim here. I did not use bare metal foil on this chrome trim, and I also did not use the Molotow pen. I actually did paint this with just silver paint. And after I got all the body painted the way I wanted and got that chrome trim the way I wanted it, I sprayed every bit of that with dull coat. The reason that I did that chrome the way I did is because I wanted it to look a little shaky, highly weathered. As you can see right there on that door where you've got some rust right around the chrome trim there. That chrome trim was actually aluminum on most of those cars like that. It was just mostly, any chrome trim was actually chrome plated. We're going to now swing around here and we're going to get into the engine department where that tree is growing up in there. And I'm going to have to, pardon me, I'm going to shake you up a little bit while I stand up here. One thing that I learned while living up in Alaska is I was in Kodiak Island where the tsunami of 1964 had done a lot of damage. And there was a lot of stuff that's still around the beaches where I think there'd been a junkyard or something at one time there. And there were a lot of old car parts. And I studied those, took a lot of pictures, and really got in depth on those as to how they rusted. And that's what I've done here. I'm trying to get this in as close as I can so that you can see how I've done the engine and all the accompanying parts there with that. Now, this being around a river, I've also added the trees, and you can see that there's little growths of probably, who knows what is growing in there actually. I did that on the inside. Yeah, and there you can see on the inside, I've got that on the seats too, that there's growth coming in on the inside there. Once again, you see how the holes, all at different places on the body. Not just in the usual places you'll find them rusting, but all kinds of different places on the body that there's rust holes at. Once again, rust holes back here. So you really need to, yes, I'm going to move back. This thing's telling me to move back to focus. So you really need to know your vehicles and study. I did a lot of study of vehicles that were rusted, sitting in junkyards. My uncle owned a junkyard. So, and there's been a lot of cars that I've seen around. One of the most interesting things was a little creek that ran by Beacon, Iowa, right beside the bridge there, just on the upper side of the bridge from the flow of the water. They placed old car bodies for, I guess, some sort of erosion control or something. And I took a lot of pictures of those and studied those. So anyway, that's what you need to do on these things here. This is a very small diorama. The car, I would like to say that I just parked the car there for aesthetics, to make it look cooler, with an angle of it. But to be honest, I did it because I needed it to be that way to fit. So anyway, that is my diorama of the flood victim and some of the things that I did to get that more realistic for you. I'm going to home in one more time on that engine because I want to show you the tree. If I can do this without getting my light, I want to show you how I brought the tree coming up beside the engine and in front of that engine there. And I thought about putting something up in front there, but that was going to be overkill. So we're going to call that a wrap for the flood victim. And once again, this is Hermit Modeler signing off. Be sure to tell your friends and hit the like button and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you get future episodes as they come in. So anyway, y'all take care, and we will see you again sometime in a future video here. Hermit Modeler signing off. Thank you. Bye.